Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today we're doing something a little different. If this is your first time watching, I usually make a recipe and narrate the process in great detail, but today is going to be a little less structured. Not so long ago, I was in France on vacation and had a great time. One thing about being a chef is that it is a pretty active lifestyle, and you are on your feet most of the day. It suits my personality pretty well, but even so, it can be hard for me to sit still for very long. I like to always find things to do and especially love to find things to cook, even on vacation. And if I have a kitchen at my disposal, I get a lot of enjoyment out of going to the grocery store or markets in a different country and just following my heart. And that's what I did on my last trip. All the while I tried to film little clips of whatever I was doing, so let me take you through my collection of clips so you can see what I was cooking and what direction my mind was going. For reference, I was in the south of France in a town not too far outside of Nice. I've cooked here before, making such southern French classics as panisse and pissaladière, which you can check out if you like. Before I left for France, my mother-in-law gave me the heads up that the knives at the house were very dull, and that I should bring my stone if possible. Cooking for a week on bad knives is no fun. So as the others got settled around the pool, sharpening the house knives became my first objective. I soaked my stone and got to work. Some of them were more stubborn than others, but eventually I got them all to a decent level of sharpness. Most of the cooking I did down there was fairly casual and low-key, but one meal was made to celebrate somebody's birthday, so I wanted to make it a little extra special by doing several waves of courses. For snacking, I made a tapenade, which meant I had to remove the stones from a lot of nice olives. I would then also need capers, anchovies, and that most essential provincial ingredient, garlic. I made two different kinds of mayonnaises for the two starter courses, so that meant I would be separating out some egg yolks. One was a sun-dried tomato mayo for the tuna carpaccio, and the other was a lemon mayo with a reduction of cooking liquid from the mussels for mussels on the half shell. Speaking of which, I steamed some mussels in the pan with a bit of onion and a good splash of rosé wine, cooled them, and then removed the mussel, arranged the shells, added a little bit of that special mayo, and then added the mussel back to the shell. I also mentioned tuna carpaccio. That actually turned out really nicely, I thought. I put a little smear of that sun-dried tomato mayonnaise on the bottom of the plate and then shingled in thin slices of tuna, and on top were little pieces of concassé tomato, pickled in raw shallots, capers, some pieces of black olive that I dried in the oven just a little bit, and some fresh strawberry. Finished with a little drizzle of olive oil. Really nice. It was also fun to do tomato concassé again. Always takes me back to the nougatine days. For one of the main courses, I knew I wanted to do fish, and at the fish department in the grocery store they had some skate wings, which I never see where I live now, so I took the opportunity to buy them. I did a very classic rustic preparation with them. Dusted them in a little bit of flour, sautéed them in the pan, and then finished with some butter and capers, letting the butter brown and take on a nice hazelnut aroma. Good, simple eating. And for a meat course, I did chicken ballantine with two birds, that is, boning out the entire chicken, stuffing it, and rolling it. My stuffing was mostly herbs from the little garden outside, rosemary and sage. I then sautéed them in a pan to get them golden brown all over before finishing them on the grill for a little smoky flavor. And for sides, to fill out the corners of the meal, I had some lentils cooked simply with some aromatics and herbs, and some red potatoes tossed with rosemary and olive oil before roasting in the oven. All in all, it was a pretty good meal, and I didn't have to worry about dessert. The owner of the house has an air fryer that he really loves. I've never actually tried one before, but was curious to give it a shot. I thought it would be funny to make air fryer fried chicken in France. This will actually probably become a full-length video, but I'll give you the overview here. I broke down a whole bird into 8 pieces, marinated it, and then followed an online recipe for how to cook it in this horrible appliance. And the results? Well, I was able to make it look and taste okay, but you'll have to watch the full video for the in-depth review. All in all, a fun little side project. And after so many chicken dishes, I ended up with quite a few chicken carcasses, and I hate to see those go to waste. The house didn't have a nice big pot, so I actually bought one at the store so that I could make some chicken stock. That pot will also make it easier for anyone here making soup or pasta for large groups in the future. And speaking of buying things, I also bought a non-stick pan. Actually, I bought two because the first one didn't work on induction burners. Having a new non-stick pan gave me the inspiration to make some omelets and crepes for breakfast one morning. Omelets make me a little nervous because I rarely make them, and they are the kind of thing people on the internet are eager to roast you about. But one must be brave. I know a fork is the classic tool to use, but I just couldn't bring myself to use one on a brand new non-stick pan. I ended up only making 2 omelets. One was better looking than the other one. So it goes. I also hadn't made crepes in a long time, but those never make me nervous, not even the flip. If you've made them before, then you know the drill. Make a nice thin batter, have a nice hot non-stick pan ready to go, give yourself a little brush of butter in between, ladle in the batter and move the pan so the batter fills the pan evenly. And when you start to see color on the edge, you know you are probably good to flip. And if the flip scares you, you can always just carefully use your hands. Either way, you will have a plate full of crepes ready in no time. And wrapping up here, on one of the last days of the vacation I made some turkey scallopini. Veal is very classic, but believe it or not, turkey makes a really decent substitute, especially if it's on sale. The meat is pounded thin, dusted in flour, sautéed in a pan, removed, and then mushrooms are cooked in the same pan with some shallots, garlic, herbs, butter, and wine. A very tasty classic. But there you have it for my cooking video journal from my vacation in the south of France. I love traveling, but I especially love it when I have a kitchen. It is a more intimate way to get in touch with the culinary world around you than just eating out in restaurants for every meal. So, get traveling and cooking. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed these POV glimpses into my vacation cooking, sporadic as they might be. If you like this, then don't forget to hit the corresponding like button, and let me know what you thought in the comments. Feedback helps me get a better idea of how to approach future videos and projects. And of course, a subscription is much appreciated also. It helps me out and it costs you nothing. Just free cooking content from a professional. It's a deal too hot to miss. Until next time, cheers.